Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling the meeting now at 5:40 p.m. Welcome to the Amityville BOE Mtg Board of Education meeting. In attendance at our meeting right now is myself, Board President Ms. Johnson. My first Vice President, Juan Leon, is absent right now, as well as my second Vice President, Chris Darren. Chris Darren is expected to be arriving. My trustees that are here are Carol Seahoff, Leslie Kretz, and Megan Messer. Also in attendance is our superintendent, Dr. Jean Talbot, our assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, Jared Stevens, our director of human resources, Dr. Lando, and our assistant superintendent for finance and operation, Mr. Snyder. As also legal counsel is here, John Shue. At this point in time, at 5:41, can I have a motion to enter into executive session for a particular person's employment history and update on negotiations regarding custodial aides, TAs, and models? Move. Second. Carol Steele is first. Leslie French second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you for joining us. We'll resume opening at 7:30.
Union Free School District Board of Education meeting. We are resuming open session now at 7:34 p.m. In the unlikely event of emergency, please note the exits that are clearly marked. And can you please stand and join the Board of Education in the Pledge of Allegiance? Dr. Talbot, I'll turn the meeting over to you.
Good evening, Board of Ed community, staff, and our student scholars. We welcome you to tonight's board meeting. And at this time, we're going to receive a report from our ex officio student board member, Ms. Aaliyah McQueen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaliyah McQueen, and I will be giving tonight's report. Students from the Middle and High School Student Council, along with members of the Superintendent Peer Leadership Council, attended the vape prevention training Wednesday, chaperoned by Mrs. Daly and Mr. Boel. The training session focused on how we as students and a community can spread awareness about the dangers of vaping, along with coming up with solutions to stop vaping within our schools and community. The ultimate goal is to work towards a better future and to hopefully expand the movement to other districts across Babylon. On Friday, students from the SUPA Public Policy class, along with several students from the AP US Government and Politics class, attended the Long Island Youth Summit at the Crest Hollow Country Club. Throughout the day, students engaged with local leaders and officials, including town supervisors, village administrators, city mayors, New York State senators, and representatives from various colleges and community organizations. Students participated in a series of workshops focusing on major Long Island issues such as clean energy initiatives, emerging job opportunities, and commercial redevelopment. Additional sessions guided students through the challenges of Long Island affordability and introduced them to pathways for securing internships, apprenticeships, and well-paying careers, including in the fields they may have not previously been aware of. Overall, the summit provided students with meaningful insights into public policy, regional challenges, and future career possibilities. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and be sure to attend the winter concerts. Park Avenues is tomorrow at 7 p.m. The middle schools is Tuesday the 16th, and the high schools is Thursday the 18th. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aaliyah. At this time, we would like to present the superintendent's report, and Aaliyah is so efficient. We would just like to thank Principal Cardone, Mr. Grice, and Ms. Shulkin for taking the initiative to provide our student scholars with the impactful learning experience that Aaliyah has shared with you regarding the Long Island Smart Growth Summit. At Northeast, they had a special holiday surprise. Santa filled the halls at Northeast on December the 10th. They had a special surprise visit, and he was accompanied by members of the North Amityville Fire Department. He toured each classroom, greeted students, wished them a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and Principal Collins was there to welcome him. I visited Northeast and I was so happy to see the beautifully decorated doors, the festive holiday attire, the decorated classroom trees, the colorful seasonal displays added such a cheerful atmosphere to already a very pleasant learning environment. We extend our heartfelt thanks to the North Amityville Fire Department for helping to bring this holiday cheer. At Northwest Elementary School, they celebrated creativity and culture. On November 26th, students celebrated Thanksgiving in a creative and joyful way that combined learning, art, and cultural traditions. After reading Balloons Over Broadway by Melissa Sweet, the true story of Tony Sarg, the artist behind the original Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade floats, students were inspired to design and construct their very own parade balloons. A special thank you to Principal Highland, Ms. Kornowich, Ms. Haber, Ms. Carrero, Ms. Soto, and Ms. Miser for their leadership in organizing this festive celebration. Park Avenue Memorial Elementary School was cultivating gratitude. 7 classes at Park Avenue Memorial Elementary School are participating in the Growing Goodness Project, thanks to funding from the Human Potential Foundation. Each student received the gratitude journal, A Simple Seed by Katie Wood, and will spend 100 days writing, reflecting, and discovering the power of gratitude. Ms. Stevens and I had an opportunity to visit Park Elementary and see this social emotional learning program in action, and it was absolutely fantastic. Students and teachers were greatly involved, and they also showcased a beautiful lobby display of how the students were grateful. We are delighted to share wonderful news from our music department. Naomi Chavez Duran, grade 11, was chosen to represent Amityville as a member of the prestigious NSBA All-State Treble Choir. Congratulations, Naomi. Aaliyah has already extended a warm invitation for you to join our evening winter concerts and art showcases, and all of them will be held at the high school auditorium. We encourage everyone to attend. Finally, I would like to congratulate our student scholars and staff at both Edmund W. Miles Middle School and Amityville Memorial High School for the fantastic walkthroughs we conducted recently. We saw great student engagement and learning and teaching in action. So your dedication to a positive and engaging learning environment is commendable. And this concludes my report, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Talbot. You are still on.
At this time, we have a special holiday treat for you tonight. We are proud to present the Northwest Elementary School Chorus under the direction of their talented music teacher, Miss Nicole Altamura, and with the support of Principal Kathleen Highland. These young musicians have worked diligently to prepare a special holiday selection that showcases both their hard work and their joy for music. Music plays a vital role in a well-rounded educational program. It nurtures creativity, strengthens cognitive development, and fosters collaboration, confidence, and self-expression. Most importantly, it gives our student scholars a voice that enriches our school community and reminds us of the beauty that shared experiences can bring. Please join me in welcoming the Northwest Elementary School Chorus.
Feliz Navidad, prospero año. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, prospero año, felicidad. Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much for a fantastic performance. It was really wonderful. At this point in time, if there is any community input regarding board agenda items only at this time?
Lisa, can you just speak to the review that occurred on the comment card? Because the comment cards are in the back of the room? Or do we not have the comment cards in the back of the room?
Are the comment cards back there? Yes. So for the comment cards, you can provide your name and your address. And then just check off that you have read the information, the policy, right? If you put down your question, that will be very helpful to us, and that way we'll be able to respond back to the question that you may have.
Thank you. I'm just questioning that because there was a community member that was concerned that it was overreach to have the card. So I just wanted to convey that we did have legal review the card.
Correct. Legal did
So
review the
that's-
card, and it's cards are fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any community input on agenda items? Right. Seeing none, I'm going to move forward. Can I do agenda items 2A1 through 4 altogether? Or do I have to do anything separately?
Can you take 3 separately, please?
So I'll do agenda item 2A1 and 2. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2A1 and 2, please? Leslie Kretz is first.
Second.
Chris Neeren is second. Any discussion on these items?
No.
Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3A3?
5-0.
Hmm?
Just, it's 5-0.
I'm sorry, 5-0, yes.
Juan just
Yes.
arrived, so.
5-0, sorry about that. Thank you. So the motion carries 5-0, sorry, thank you. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2A3, please? Carol Seehoff is
Second.
first. Leslie Kretz is second. Any discussion on this item?
I have comments for that agenda, minutes. So. Let me find it. Okay, it was, do we want to try to amend it as we're accepting it or just follow up with it and
My
bring it
preference
again?
would be if we could, if you let us know what the changes are, and then we can amend it to.
Okay, I think that 2A2, motion to amend minutes to reflect correct vote for agenda item 2C6. The 1 yes and the 5 no, that didn't sound right. I think this was Chris's comment about the work session, minutes from September 10th. Do you see what I'm referring to?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So it lists the 1 yes as one person and 5 no, but there's only 2. Yeah, I think what happened was this, it should be the motion to reflect the vote for agenda item 2C6. It should be made by Chris Neer and seconded by Kretz, and then there's a discussion. So what should come out is 1 yes and 5 no, because then the motion carried 5-1. See what I'm saying?
No, I think we all agreed to amend those minutes per the comment that Chris had made. So it's just the 5 yes, 1 no. Right?
Right, so
Okay, so you're just gonna delete the,
I'm gonna delete 1 yes,
you're gonna delete 1 yes, 5.
5 no.
Thank. And I think that was it. That was the only thing. Yes, that was the only one.
Perfect.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So I would like to accept the minutes as amended. So under 2A2, we're gonna remove 1 yes and 5 no.
Agreed. Do you need a motion? Yes. Motion?
Second.
Megan is first, Chris Neer in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 1.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2A4, please?
Motion.
Chris Nairn's first, Leslie Kretz is second. Any discussion on this item?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. All right, up for discussion now are the minutes. And we did have the policy committee meeting on the 24th of November. And there were some policies that we were going to bring back for a second reading, but we sent them out for review by legal, and we did not get them back as of yet. So that's why we only have these on here for tonight. And the board has received all the policies with the recommended changes from the policy committee. Does the board members have any questions about the changes that we are recommending?
So I have a few things.
Sure.
So the policies that you mentioned that aren't on here, I I guess just being a member of the policy committee, I would just request to be copied on the emails with legal back and forth. I think it would be helpful. If the Word files are going, then we just see it quicker and just understand why they weren't back. Because I had the question of why it wasn't on the agenda.
Right.
So I would just request, and I don't know if it's everybody on the policy committee or Chris would want to be on those emails.
Yeah, I would like to be included also.
Thank you. I think that would help us.
We did receive the policies on December 1st.
Yeah.
And we have provided a memo with the board today. So we have responded.
Yeah. Thanks, John. I just mean like to be included so that we knew that it went and then, yeah, just, yeah.
Understood.
And then as far as last time, we didn't have the hard copies available in the back of the room, and I do see that we have them today, which is great.
And I think
So-
you also post them online too.
So I had a community member tell me that they weren't online, so I did ask Anne Marie to just double check that. to-
So she doesn't do the postings online. So we'll follow up on that. Make sure the
Okay,
graphs.
so I guess if that's the case, then we'll do a third reading. Is that what we're saying?
I think it's up for the board to make a decision. We can do, if we want to do the ones that are second readings, we can do second and final readings. I think for 4321, if we can do that as a first and final reading. And for the other, it's up to the board. If we can do them all as a final readings, or if we want to bring them back again. If the board has an opportunity to review them all, if there's no questions, no other recommendations to the policy committee, then that way we can move things forward for these particular policies.
Okay, I thought that part of it was too, just to have it available for reading for public comment. So if we didn't have it for the first public comment. Is that what we're doing here?
So I think we're just presenting the information to the public. I don't think we have, please correct me, John, if the policy is not up, can we still go ahead and vote and make it a first and final reading or second and final reading?
So my recommendation is that you should have the policies up before posted to the website, because that's the requirement.
Well, I'm looking now, I see that there are at least some posted. I'm just verifying if they're all here.
As part of the backup to the agenda, you're saying?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, so just let us know which ones are there and if we can make them the final readings.
So, and I guess while you're looking at that, Chris, like I did notice, Lisa, that the agenda policy, the last two paragraphs changed a little bit from the version that we had in the policy meeting.
For 2342?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know that I have the other version in my stack. So I guess that's prompted my request that we be copied on the Word files going back and forth with legal to make that easier. But I'm not sure what prompted the change in those last two paragraphs.
I don't think we didn't make any changes in the last two paragraphs. You went-
Yeah, at home, I compared it to the version that we had in the policy meeting, and then
All right, so let's take a look at that. If you can just send that to, because in the notes that I think Emery had, I don't think there were no changes. Right, so just kind of share what changes you have, because the changes that, in the notes that she had, she did not have any changes for those last two paragraphs.
mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so I would not want to make this the
That's fine.
final then, this one.
That's fine.
And then as far as the 4321, there was the statement on the first page that's grayed out, suggested to be removed by legal. Also, the policy committee agreed to remove it. However, this obligation does not extend to resident students with disabilities who are placed by their parents in a non-public school within the district boundaries because of a disagreement between the parents and the school district over the provision of free appropriate public education. So, as my notes from the policy meeting was that we were removing that statement.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's not,
Did we leave it up here just so
It
the,
was just
rest of
for
the
the
members?
board could see it, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, we just left it so that way the board can see it.
And all 6 policies are posted on board docs as part of the backup.
Okay, great. Thanks for checking that. So we're saying, so then, great. So it's really a first and final because they were not available last time, right? And it's kind of splitting hairs, but it's
Yeah, so
fine.
I think for,
So,
at least for 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, we want to make them, I'll do 1 to 3 as second and final readings,
okay,
and then, 5 and 6 as first and final readings. So I'll do it separately.
okay, with that statement deleted in 4321.
Yes, it's gonna be deleted. All right, can I have a motion to approve agenda items 2B 1 through 3 as second and final reading?
Motion.
Second. Chris Nairn is first. Carol Seehoff is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. And for agenda items 2B 5 and 6, can I have a motion as a first and final reading?
Motion.
Chris Nairn is first. Leslie Kretz is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. So for 2360, if you can get those notes to us, Megan, we can all check
Yes.
our notes because I don't, okay?
Okay,
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 2C1. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C1, please?
so moved.
Leslie Kretz is first. Carol Seehoff is second. Any discussion on this item?
Yes, Madam President. Can someone please explain this?
Yeah, the resolution is just stating that at the last meeting, I think there was discussion about looking at changing the logo, the mascot logo. And from the resolution that was presented on June 4th at that particular meeting, the board had voted on utilizing the letter A as the mascot on the school uniforms. So in order for a new mascot logo to be identified or determined, we have to do a resolution that would then remove the letter A as the mascot logo. So therefore, we can find a new logo.
Right. So, Madam President, that was my motion. And the spirit behind that motion was that we could no longer be the Warriors. So sports teams still needed to buy their uniforms and helmets and things like that to get us by. It was my idea to have them their uniforms say Amityville or just A until we figured out a logo. I have no problem approving this once we have a logo.
But they can't do anything unless this resolution, unless it rescinds the letter A. And that's why we had to do this resolution.
I think we can work on the logo without a resolution.
Because I think that was one of the things that came up from the last meeting, and that's why we're bringing it up as a resolution, because the last time it was brought up. John, just kind of confirm with us, because that the last time it was brought up, we had to create this resolution to rescind the letter A, so therefore they could start the process to find a new mascot logo.
So my understanding of the concern with the June 4th resolution is the direction to administration to take all necessary steps to implement the transition, so that athletic uniforms shall bear the letter A or the word Amityville. So it's the directive. If you are, administration is bound by that directive. So if you were not following through on that directive, it's got to be removed. Because if you're changing to something else, administration is still bound by that directive.
Understood, John, but is it necessary to remove that to begin exploring what our new logo should be? I don't think so.
Yeah, because we directed them to do the letter A. They're not gonna change anything until they find a new logo. So the A is gonna stay there, M is gonna stay there.
So then don't
But-
amend it.
But it's gonna allow them to look for another logo. 'Cause right now, they were directed to use this letter A.
So,
So
okay,
let me
go ahead.
understand. You had the original mascot, and then you had the letter A as per this resolution. Has the A been implemented?
Yes.
Okay. And now you're looking to change again
If desired.
if desired. But so administration has already fulfilled this directive to change to the A. So we would just, all you need is a subsequent resolution that changes it from A to something else.
Right, and John, to tag on to this point, our sports teams don't buy uniforms and equipment every single year. It's not fiscally possible. So, for example, our wrestling team, it says Amityville. It looks very nice. If we were to revoke this, that would have to be changed.
Next year, yes.
It doesn't say next year.
All they're doing right now is looking for another logo. There's a whole process that would have to take place for another
Okay,
logo.
so I'm sorry. So John, can you
Yeah,
continue
so-
talking about the subsequent motion, please?
So this is a motion to amend something that's previously been approved. So it actually goes back and deletes something that's been approved. I don't think that's the intent of the actual motion that is before the board. I think what you're looking for is you had the directive, you fulfilled the directive in bearing the letter A. Now you're free to keep this, table this motion, not pass it, and look for another mascot. You're always able to change things in the future. So I don't think there is necessarily keeping this motion as it was in June 4th, 2025, and having the ability to change the mascot in the future.
I think I'm just a little confused because the last time that we met, there was discussion about this and it was stated that we needed a resolution.
So I was told that from the district clerk that this had to be changed.
Right. And that's where the
It,
confusion is
it
coming in.
doesn't have to be changed because it's in compliance. What I'm suggesting is a new motion to begin exploring what the Tide logo should be. Leave that in place. It's working. We've implemented it. Don't take it apart.
And I think just for you to understand, we're not taking it apart. If we rescind, and just for clarification, the letter A is going to stay. It's not like they're going to go out and buy whole new uniforms with another logo. It's not going to happen until new logo is identified. So we're not taking anything apart. Everything would stay in place until the new logo is identified. So we
So
need
I-
to table this item. Let's just table this item and.
I mean,
Well,
you can just change this resolution to the Board of Education wishes to reconsider its prior determination. The Board of Education hereby directs administration to explore other other logos and mascots for the district.
While,
So it-
while still keeping.
Well, it would just be perspective,
Keep it, yeah. They're not going to take.
right? So it would not reference the June 4th resolution. All it would be perspective is for administration to explore other mascots.
I think that's what we're seeking.
Yeah, okay.
Logos.
So I-
Can you just write that out? So therefore I
Well,
could.
Can I chime in for a second? Because I actually emailed a suggested resolution for this issue because I also read this rescinding of the A and it didn't click with me. Like, why would we be rescinding a decision that we made? Where rather we were looking to develop, and I suggested this language that we would ask the superintendent to develop a community-informed process, including meetings and participation opportunities to generate new district logo options for board approval. So that's the language that I suggested to the board. I didn't receive nobody responded to me, even though they asked me to email my suggested resolutions. Nobody responded to me. So that was my suggested language to address the exact issue that Juan is also.
So I didn't respond. I did not respond to that email because yeah, you were on the email because we already had a resolution. So can we just get the language for this resolution so we can move forward?
Well,
I just want to pull up that email that I
Yeah,
received. from-
you were almost, you were on the
Yes.
email too. John was on the email.
Well, I think it's a little bit different than exactly what John just said, what I had suggested, to look at it as how to involve the community, potentially how to involve the students.
What date?
It was either yesterday.
Yesterday morning.
Oh.
Anyway, I don't know if
But-
any of the board would agree that they would want it to be a
Oh, that was.
community involved process.
I thought that was, I didn't see that as a resolution. I thought that was just a bullet.
Right. So I think for me, it's instead of, I think in that resolution, like I think it was directing the superintendent to.
No, I
create-
said to develop. The superintendent to develop. Oh, you want me to read it again? A community-informed process, including meetings and participation opportunities to generate the new district logo options for board approval. So it's identifying a process, right? So we may all have different concepts of what this would look like. How many options do we want to put forward or not? How do we want to involve the students, the community, and just to kind of come a meeting of the minds, agree to a process so that we can not have, similar outcry that happened with the mascot in general.
I would agree that we need the community involvement and the student and staff involvement.
But I think also from the last time that this happened, that we recognize that it's important to have all stakeholders involved, and they were involved, but maybe have them more involved the next time around in terms of developing a logo.
And we should try to create better understanding on what the process should be. So we're giving clear direction to the superintendent on what it should be, and
But I
we're
think
not
it's also,
wondering what because it was kind of just a blanket, figure it out, create a committee, and no, and I'm not saying that I'm saying our direction to you was, I feel like we didn't really set a structure, and it kind of developed. Okay.
There was a 3-month timeline that was presented to the board. There were committees involved. The community was involved in the surveys. The final voice was given to the students and not the community. And then that's where the difference came in. So what I would like for this time around, if the board would like for the community to participate in the final voting of the choices of the logo, if we can establish that early on, then we will develop another timeline, and that will be an essential piece.
So that's what
Of the
I'm
process.
agreeing with you. I'm saying we didn't give you those parameters of like what we expected beforehand.
Yeah.
So when you,
Yeah.
without the direction from us, you created your own process. And I'm not saying that you're wrong in doing that, just saying that we didn't provide the guidance that we should have.
Right,
Right.
right. But this,
you
but
would
this,
have
this
preferred.
time around, the scope is a lot more focused and honed in. We're not asking individuals to pick from 5, 6, 8 different logos. We have the name, and there should be some suggestions, talk it out and see what best reflects our school district.
But right, so Chris, exactly that is just defining a guideline for implementation. So there's no question at the end, this is what we all agreed to. And that's exactly what I was trying to outline in that statement. And John may build it out a little bit more, but just a process,
Right.
defining the process.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
And that conversation has had previously. I mean, we have talked about it. It's not something new as far as the statement goes. We have been working on this and discussing it.
all right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just move on because John's still working on the language.
Okay.
So let's move on, and then we'll come back to this one.
So
So,
we,
President Johnson just reminding you to remove the items.
oh, thank you.
so do we have a motion on the table though? I think we.
I'm just
right?
gonna hold off on that motion because he's working on the language.
Okay.
All right, can I have a motion to pull agenda items 3B 21 and 22, but leave the sequence of the numbers the same? So motion to pull agenda items 21, 22, but keep the sequence of the numbers the same.
So move.
Second.
Carol Seover first, Chris Nair second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion, Juan, is that a yes or no?
I said aye.
Okay. Motion carries 6-0. Can I do agenda items 3B1 through 20 altogether? Anything done separately?
1 through 32, because you pulled 21 and
That's true, yeah, 3B1 through 3B32. Right. Can I have a motion for agenda items 3B1 to 3B32?
Motion.
Ms. Neeren is first.
second.
Leslie Crest is second. Any discussion on these items?
I just want to ask Dr. Lando just to explain, just so the public is aware, the difference between childbirth leave and FMLA.
Sure. Uh, Childbirth leave is a leave that begins upon the birth of a child for a faculty member. And there is a leave that runs concurrently with FMLA leave for the first 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the recovery period of the individual. And then FMLA leave extends by law for a full 12 weeks. And so sometimes a staff member takes an FMLA leave, depending on their circumstances, beyond that, at their request, beyond the 6 to 8 weeks of typical recovery.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3C1 through 3C5, please?
Motion.
Second.
Chris Neeren is first. Leslie Crest is second. Any discussion on these items?
Yes. Have we verified that the insurance is cleared through NYSER? Yes, on the use of facilities for the town of Babylon.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
The H2M authorization, I thought we already had H2M on board, so is this just kind of cleaning up that?
We have H2M on board and under contract for the current project at the middle school based on a much
Mhm.
older
Right,
contract. This would be for H2M to be the architect of record going forward prospectively for any new contracts.
right. I was involved with the interviews in the spring, and I
Yes.
thought that we had H2M on the reorg meeting, so I guess I was just surprised that it was taking this long to work out the agreement.
I'm not sure about the reorg. I'd have to check that, ma'am.
Well, that is usually one of the items that we approve at the reorg meeting.
Certainly the contract negotiations are extensive with Curcio in terms of the litigious nature of construction. So it does take a while to do that. I'd have to check your point about the reorg.
So
Is
the
it-
architect is appointed as architect of record at the reorg. And you had an existing contract to address the ongoing construction in the district. The focus of this contract was the 5-year capital plan and other amounts going forward. And that's the main focus of this contract. Okay.
So just a follow-up question on that, because I knew it was for the 5-year plan, is when will they be ready to start work on that?
Soon, I'm expecting a 5-year capital worksheet to be sent to us before the February recess.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or discussion on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3D1, please?
Motion.
Chris Neeren is first.
Second.
Carol Seehoff is second. Any discussion on this item?
Yes. On the appropriation status report, as we spoke about last week, the custodial overtime in the middle school has already exceeded its budgeted amount by a large sum. So I obviously went to look at that again this month, and it did go up, but it was so it went up $722, which is a very small amount. But then I see that the high school overtime has skyrocketed and has went over $13,000 over the past month. Do we have any explanation as to what that is from?
The primary explanation for the high school is sports related and facility use.
Okay. what? Why would this be sports related and not something that was really scheduled for? Because I believe the sports schedules are released well in advance. I understand you weren't part of the budgeting process for this, so it's not necessarily something that you would have the direct answer for, but okay. Thank you.
The overtime for the custodial staff was a part of that final deduction that was being made to the budget regarding the $2 million. So we were waiting to see if we would get the state aid bullet grant from the assemblyman. And in that interim, we had to make $2 million in cuts, and overtime was one of those areas that was impacted by that decision.
So it was, the budgeting decision was made not because we thought we were gonna actually reach that amount, but it just because we didn't think we were gonna have the $2 million. So now that we did receive the $2 million, we're allowing that expense.
Well, that expense is occurring out of necessity. So there will be a transfer required to make up the difference, and overtime is being monitored. But we knew well in advance that those amounts were not the amounts that would be required for the year. We're just in December, and we have 7 months to go. So that original budget was taking into consideration the remaining 7 months.
Yeah, that's my understanding and explanation, that when the grant came through, there was no need for a change in any overtime behavior, which is tough to begin with at the high school, specifically with sports. You typically have to do that with existing staff. It's hard to hire new custodians just to handle those responsibilities, which typically happen after hours. You have a night shift custodial staff that's there for cleaning, and they're not typically involved in sports. So it just becomes difficult. And I think, as we mentioned at the last meeting, there's more facility use going on now that's also going to drive security over time. So we're going to have to, adjust these budgets this year and set them to more reasonable levels for 26, 27, back to what they were prior to 24, 25.
So is there any way that you could project what these two categories might be?
Yeah, I'm going to be projecting them for
Yeah.
that presentation for the board in, towards the tail end of January, when I'm going to do a projection. Overtime is something we're going to have to look at carefully, but you could see, we have a trend already for the first 5.5 months that is, we're going to go over.
Right, and the middle school and the high school are both over $10,000 of what was budgeted for each of them. So
Yes, sir.
it's clearly going to go way above that if we're only in December.
I think so, because I think spring sports are much more active for overtime than fall and winter. That's just
And
my experience.
Just to chime in on that, it's really only through the end of October that we're looking at this appropriations report.
Yeah,
So we're
right,
saying five
right.
and a half
That's a
months, but it's-
good point.
Yeah.
Right. So this is only the first 2 months of school.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in and say something. Mr. Schneider, I'm not trying to be harsh or anything, but controlling the budget lines is your responsibility. It's nobody else's here. Okay? This district suffered deficits because of this exact thing. This exact thing. It was overspent in the high school security. And now I'm hearing that we knew that we didn't budget enough. What kind of calculation took place?
Mr. Leon, just so you, as a reminder, Mr. Snyder was not here when that budget was developed. He came into the budget.
It's not my fault.
So he has recognized and he has explained to us what has happened, and they're going to be addressing it. So
Look,
it
we're
seems
not,
like-
we're not off the deep end, but I
No,
want to hear, I
you-
want to hear a plan.
I know,
wanna
but
hear something.
it seems like you're coming at him for something that he, no, that
Right.
he.
You said that it was his
Right,
responsibility
but
when in fact
he's addressing it. So
it was not.
Go ahead, Mr. Snyder. Go ahead, Mr. Snyder.
Without a change in the behavior or cuts to programs that would be pretty draconian. You know, you're talking about sports, you're talking about facility use and eliminating those things to lower the overtime. You know, some of the overtime is generated by absenteeism, you know, positions aren't filled. Other custodians have to jump in to do cleaning when someone calls in sick. It's all very normal things that happen in these codes without making very difficult decisions on what to cut there. Then you have to properly fund the overtime.
Is it, oh, can I jump in? Lauren?
Sure.
I'm sorry. So my mind went to the night staff, right? So I'm like wondering why we couldn't negotiate, because we're negotiating with this unit to cover that as a task for the night shift rather than trying to calculate and deal with overtime.
We do have night custodial staff that come in and clean. Some of the overtime that happens at night and even during the day is because of absenteeism.
So, and then I guess just another, like, that's a lot of absenteeism, I guess, but, just something that came up and I guess it really wasn't protected by executive session, but I had asked about the overtime of custodians and we spoke about, Mr. Snyder, about, there was a comment that was made in one of the previous meetings that the overtime was in the negative already because of the construction at the middle school. And you had alluded to that the effort of our labor associated with the construction could eventually be covered by the construction bond. So I just, because that's a financial conversation, so I just wanted to say that out here, and did I speak correctly on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry to take the mic again, but we do realize that constantly running these budget line items in the red and them getting eaten up way prematurely is not something that is sustainable. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
It's not sustainable in the sense that we seem unwilling, and I'm acknowledging that it is very difficult to change the behavior and the programs that generate overtime. Every district would struggle with that. We're not cutting sports. We're not gonna, cut facility use or charge for it when someone calls in sick and we have to clean the room and cover a shift. Overtime happens. We just have to be more practical and realistic going forward. I think that was the intent with the legislative grant to say, okay, we're going to have to cover these codes. They're overtime codes. There's 700 other lines. Some of them have, considerable surpluses in them and will likely have them going forward. So you have to look at it in total. But overtime as a group of codes is certainly problematic. There's no denying that.
And if I could jump in for a second, Mr. Leo, you stated that it is his Mr. Snyder's responsibility to maintain the budget lines. However, in these two categories, assuming that he's correct with it being driven by facility use and athletics, he does not create the athletic schedule, but he needs to follow the staffing for that schedule. He doesn't decide when tournaments are held at the school grounds, and he doesn't approve facility use that's on the school board.
So Chris, what is the solution?
Well, the solution is proper budgeting in
Thank you.
all the categories, but that is not what you're saying is that
I don't like hearing that you can't predict it.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Predictable.
If I can continue, what you're saying is his response to this is that Mr. Snyder should be controlling the overtime. And obviously I am concerned with it. Otherwise I wouldn't have brought it up. Should I wait until?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm being inappropriate, but the thing is, when it comes to use of facilities, we don't know who's gonna ask for use of facilities
Exactly.
after hours. We have no idea. It could change from year to year. So we could budget, we could increase it. So we don't know that. So that's it.
Well,
Go
I
ahead,
guess
Kristen,
in
finish.
that regard, like the line item shouldn't have been cut, right? Like that's, I mean, is that the lesson learned here?
Yeah, but we had no choice.
Well, and
So,
for the facility use, that is a widely unknown thing because that depends on who applies for it and what the board decides to approve. The athletics, on the other hand, that I have an issue with that being an excuse for the overtime because that is something that should get planned for. I understand that there are call outs and that has to be covered. But it's, I, could we get a report on how much of this is due to athletics compared to what's
Sure.
due to facility
I'll
use?
give you the history of it for the past 3 years by those categories. And I think as I mentioned at the last meeting, there is an uptick in facility use that will now start generating security OT. So you're gonna,
Right.
and we don't
Because
have codes for that yet.
it would be completely unfair for the Board of Education that approves the facility use to blame the administration for having to pay the staff to man that use of facilities.
Well, Chris, I think you said it correctly, that it has to be budgeted properly. If we are this deep in the hole this early on, and I agree with you, Chris, it is poor budgeting.
so, and then I guess along the lines of the breakdown of the overtime, and if you're gonna do the 3 years, because a lot of the facility use is repeat facility use, so that'll be important to see. Is what was associated with the construction. What was associated with the, like, because that's the
Yeah.
real
Right.
difference this year. And that was really only the middle school. And in that vein, is there work occurring in the middle school over the winter break? The Christmas break?
Yes, there is overtime being generated at the middle school related to the construction, but it's not going to be the sole reason that the middle school overtime is in the negative.
No, I understand that, but in a previous meeting, it was sort of mentioned as though it was the reason. So this is a better detailed conversation about why it is in the negative, and the breakdown would be very helpful for us.
Any other discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion to pull agenda item 3E1B, please?
Motion.
Chris Nearen is first. Carol Seehoff is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3E1A, please?
Motion.
Chris Nearen is first. Leslie Kretz is second. Any discussion on this item?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3F1, please?
Motion.
Chris Nearen is first. Carol Seoff is second. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. Right, so I'm gonna go back to agenda item 3C1. And I will read. It says, whereas the Board of Education adopted a resolution at the board meeting on June 4th at agenda item 2C11, substituting the letter A in place of the mascot on school uniforms. And whereas the Board of Education wishes to reconsider its prior determination, resolve the Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent of schools to develop a community-based process to develop a new district logo, which shall detail the opportunities for community participation for board consideration and approval.
I'd like to see staff and students added to that statement.
To develop a community, which shall for community, what does it say?
I mean, is it necessary to put that in right now, or is that part of,
Yes.
that's part of the plan that's gonna come to us?
So do you want to add, it shall detail
The opportunities for staff,
staff, student,
Student.
and community participation?
Yes.
How about alumni?
that's community.
That's community.
Not necessarily. If they
No.
don't, are they considered community members if they live in a different state?
shall detail the opportunities for staff, students, alumni, and community.
That's why I think the resolution was fine the way it is. And when the superintendent brings a plan forward, that's where we can hammer it out.
Okay,
I'd like the specifics added.
ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, I have to rescind the previous motion. So can I have a motion to rescind that motion of 2C1, please?
Motion.
Second.
So that's Juan Leon's first, Chris Neera second. All those in favor of rescinding my original?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, I'll do this way. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C1, please?
Motion.
Chris
Second.
Neera's first,
Second.
Megan Messman is second. So that was what I'll read the bottom half again. Resolve the Board of Education authorizes the superintendent of schools to develop a community-based process to develop a new district logo, which shall detail the opportunities for staff, students, alumni, and community participation for board consideration and approval. All those in favor of this or discussion?
There's no timeline on it.
No.
Okay. Do we,
Yeah, we should. That's important. We would like a new logo by when?
well, it's not the logo, it's the
Uh,
process.
do
It's-
that.
It's a process.
Yeah,
It's-
let
it's
her
the-
develop.
It's outlining the process. So what's reasonable? That's just so that we have an understanding. Is it, the middle of February? Is it, I don't. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Dr. Talbert.
So you mean what's a reasonable time for Dr. Talbert to present us with the process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so we have a
Yeah.
timeline. Resolution.
A February timeline is doable. The meeting is, I'm not sure.
I don't know, we don't have one. Anyone pull a calendar?
Just put. Yeah,
Because it's also budget season, so just kind of take a look and make sure that we're not overlap with them.
February 11th, by February 11th, should be fine.
Okay, so
It's
at
the
the end, I
first
can
day.
just put, and provide to the board by February 11th? Okay. 2/11/2026.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Okay, any old business, new business?
Yes. Following up on old business, I was requesting intramural program information. Just wondering what the status is on that.
Last week, Mr. Farkas sent a parent square message. It went to all parents, detailing who the coaches were for the intramurals and how they could get information about schedules.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other old business, new business?
I have some
Okay.
new business. On the subject of what we were discussing with the treasurer's report, facilities use, I kind of got a better understanding of what our discussion that it's nearly impossible to really know what the facilities use would be for our budget, but maybe we'll have like a roundabout number after you're getting that 3-year trend, which I know is going up. Because I just wanted to, as much as possible, have this in our budget. So just wanted to discuss that. But I don't know if there's any further discussion on it because we kind of hit that with the treasurer's report.
I can just share that last year, the calendar, as we are developing the calendar, and it's not all the way complete, but we look at the night events at the schools. There's literacy night, family engagement night. We look at the Saturday activities that take place at the schools. Mr. Farkas provides us with the estimate on athletics, and all of that is taken into consideration to reach a ballpark number of where we may land. The unknown piece has been the community facilities use, because that comes as organizations submit their applications and interests, which varies from year to year. Some are the same. So those were some of the steps that we took to do the best guess estimates And as I stated earlier, that number that we were at did decrease when we had to make the final $2 million cut to present a balanced budget.
And just to note for Mr. Snyder, when you're looking at it, I'm sure they filled you in before, but there was a period where the board was not approving weekend public use of facilities. So when you're looking over those numbers, it will show a drastic increase between this year and last year and the years prior to that.
Thank
And one last new business. Maybe Trustee Messman has spoken about this because I know this has been a subject of yours, but the field trips, since they're back into the schools, could we get any sort of report, either in a transmittal or anything like that, of like what field trips are now going on for the grades, and if they're planned out for the entire year, or if there's still some that have to be planned?
Sure. Ms. Stevens, could you elaborate a little more? Maybe there's more light you
Yes.
can shed even at this time.
I'm certain that I can share information with Dr. Talbert for the weekly transmittal. The principals have planned their trips for the year. Occasionally, opportunities present themselves that align with the curriculum. So there could be some that are added mid-year, but for the most part, we are planned out.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to share the information about the trips for each building.
Okay. And I know I have seen some communication about it in the transmittals, so it's not like we've been kept in complete dark. It's just, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I had.
Madam President, the only comment that I have is that I disagree with the notion that it is impossible, absolutely impossible, to be able to forecast the budget lines for security or for extra use. School districts do it across Long Island, districts do it across the nation. To come here and tell me that that is not possible, I'm having a tough time understanding that.
I don't believe it was stated that it was not possible.
Chris, you said it was not possible.
Okay, well, maybe I worded it incorrectly, but
The expenditures for overtime are variable. Makes it difficult to project, especially when you have increase in activity like facility use. You know, just this weekend, I
understand that, but what we're talking about here is an extreme range. That, let me ask you this. At the rate that we are currently going, with the budget, with the funds that are currently in those budget lines, as our financial advisor, when do you anticipate that they will run out?
this month.
And okay. And
we
those,
already did in some of those lines.
At the rate they're accruing now, and I agree, you're looking at October.
right,
But again, knowing the budget pressure that the administration and the board were under when they were setting these codes, and then what happened after budget adoption with regards to the $2 million grant, I understand the decision. All we can do is look at actual cost trends over the prior years, because it's variable, and set your budgets at the high end. And then if something happens, like this weekend, there were a handful of kids who forgot their gear for a sporting event. Athletic director calls director of facilities, says you have to open up the high school. Kids have to get into their lockers. Facilities director texts me and says, we're going to have some overtime on Sunday. I have to open up the building. I say, why? And I get the explanation, and if the answer is no, and you don't want the overtime, then we're forfeiting an athletic event. You know, so it's just one of those things that there is a level of volatility to overtime that you can look at the trends and make some assumptions about it, but it's not like projecting kindergarten salaries, which should be a very smooth projection line. That doesn't take a rocket scientist to project kindergarten salaries, but over time, there's an accounting art to that and craft that you just have to know your history. And I have the 5-year history of your overtime.
Trustee Messman?
I have other points. I think we
Yeah.
spoke about that. Well, I guess the only thing is like what would be, when would we get the summary of the year on year on year on the overtime? Is that something that we can see for the January meeting when you're doing the projections?
For the 3-year overtime broken out by category?
Yes.
January, yeah.
Okay, thank you. As far as jumping on the class trip thing, is Ms. Stevens, is that inclusive of the senior class trip? Because I heard some questions that whether or not transportation was going to be provided for, I'm sorry, Dr. Talbert, for the senior class trip. Is it covered? Transportation for the senior class trip?
We've not received a request for the district to cover, am I correct? And there was a letter that went home to parents outlining the anticipated fee that each student would pay for the trip to Kalahari. And do you have any more information that you can share on that?
It was my understanding that the class of 2026 was able to cover the transportation from their funds without support from the district.
Okay, I guess I've heard differently, so could we just verify that?
Have we received verification that the class of 2026 is able to cover their
I believe I
senior
received
class trip?
verification of that. Okay,
Yes.
you have verification of that. Thank you. Okay, I had questioned the work over the winter break in the middle school. So for the two holiday weeks, there's going to be work ongoing in the middle school.
There will be asbestos abatement in the middle school over the recess period.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I know that that was planned. I just wanted to verify. I had this thought, and I try to I keep up with the Friday memos, but I was interested in hearing from the transportation department on the performance of the educational bus company. And want to just some feedback from transportation. And in particular, one of the comments or requirements of the contract that sticks in my mind is the 20 or so minute response time. So I'd like to hear how we're doing on that, if that's actually being obtained by our vendor.
To give you an accurate response, I would need to check in with our transportation coordinator. Our transportation department has been actively engaged with EBT, our provider, and things have been improving and going well with the addition of the after-school program. The buses have been going well.
Okay.
Did you have a specific?
Yeah, just some feedback on it, I guess, from, in one of your Friday memos.
Sure.
And I did, the specific comment was to the response time that's in the contract, or was in the RFP, I should say. Thank you. I also wonder if we welcomed a new director of curriculum this week, or last week, which is very exciting. And with that, it came to mind like an updated administration staff matrix. So we had looked at that. I'm sorry?
You saying for the policy committee?
Just
Organization.
organizational chart, because things are shifting around in central administration, and we last saw it, I don't know, June or July. So just to take a look at that again. And then I think looking back through my notes, there should have been a wellness committee meeting and a health and safety committee meeting recently, and I just wondered if those happened.
The Health and Safety Committee meeting?
The Health and Safety Committee was scheduled, it was held, but there were no community members present.
Okay, and the wellness?
Ms. Stevens?
The wellness committee did meet, I think it was the week before last.
Okay. I think we had spoken about maybe inviting the food consultant to the wellness committee. Has that happened? I was going back through my notebook. I was maybe, right? Is that ringing a bell? Lisa's saying yes, so, um,
We can follow up.
okay. Just,
You're
I don't
speaking of
know,
HMB.
I don't know who's, Juan, you're on the wellness committee?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember. Okay.
Yes. I received the message it was canceled.
Oh, so you're
I
in
saw-
conflict of that? You're thinking it
So
didn't occur?
I did not.
Oh.
I will have to follow up. It was my understanding it took. place.
And also, if you don't mind, if I can cut in for a minute, there have also been other meetings that have been not held. President Johnson, we usually meet to discuss the setting of the agenda. That's something I worked very hard to have a calendar set. The last one, which should involve yourself, myself, Dr. Talbert, and Second Vice President, Mr. Nearing, the last one was canceled. So to set this agenda tonight. So there was no explanation. Is there an explanation for that? And then the one prior to that was moved to a date and time that could only accommodate yourself and the superintendent, and it couldn't accommodate me and trustee Nearing. Is there any reason for this pattern?
Mr. Leon. First Vice President, Mr. Leon, sorry about that. So when you have attended the agenda review, it has been via Zoom. That's one. Number two, there was an unfortunate circumstances why I couldn't make the meeting. I mean, the one where we had to change the time. As reminder, when it comes to agenda review, according to policy, it's the superintendent and the board president that does the agenda review. For years, out of courtesy, we always have extended an invitation to the first and second vice president to attend. So it's important for the president to be there. This last meeting, there were circumstances that was beyond everyone's control, and that one had to be canceled. It was an opportunity for people to come pick up their agendas. I did go down and pick up my agenda the next day, and I looked through it. So we did have an opportunity to look through it. The board receives the agenda on Friday, and the board can review the agenda as well. So as we move forward, we have to establish new dates starting in, I think January, we still have one date, that's a 9 o'clock start. And then we have to establish the other dates for February, March, April, May, and June. So I always try to be inclusive and have my first and second there. And we worked well last year with Megan and Carol, and we worked well in adjusting our times. And there were times that I couldn't make it, and those two went. So we work well. So we'll continue to do that as we move forward. So thank you. Go ahead, Trustee Messman, with your questions.
Thanks for sharing that, though. I really didn't know that they had been canceled because we wouldn't know.
It was just one that was canceled.
Okay.
No, it was two, Madam President.
There was,
And-
there was, you know,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but before we worked really hard to establish dates. When I came onto the board on May, I wasn't invited to any meeting.
Mr. Leon, can we, go ahead, Ms. Messman.
I just.
No,
I
go-
just want to make.
Go ahead.
Listen, if
Carol-
we
Trustee Seow.
sat down and we said, we are setting
Ms.
these
Messman, go ahead,
dates, that means that you are confirming that you would like to have the committee there.
Mr. Leon, I already explained to you what
That's fine.
happened for
I
one of the meetings.
understand.
So go ahead, Ms. Messman.
I just
Thank you.
want to also
No,
make.
Trustee Seow, can we just go ahead? Let's move forward. This
I-
does
I-
not need to take place. Go ahead, Ms. Messman.
President Johnson, I would like the opportunity to say that
Can we just,
this did occur
can we just move forward?
last year,
Ms.
and
Trustee Seow,
President
let's just
Meslin
move forward.
And I know we have to be flexible. We all have to be flexible. Life happens, things happen. There were times that Megan Mesman couldn't make it, I couldn't make it, you couldn't make it, but we always made sure that the agenda was covered, and it just speaks to professionalism
So
and
let's,
flexibility.
Trustee, Seow, thank you so
I
very
don't
much.
believe that
Let's
the
just-
issue is flexibility, because this most recent meeting was canceled with no explanation, no alternate meeting. It's not about flexibility. I understand flexibility.
Go ahead, Trustee Messman.
Okay, thank you. Just two sort of budgetary questions also on the realm of committees. When will the budget committee meet again? I think it's January, is that right? They just hadn't met in December,
We're
if I remember
meeting
correctly.
January 6th. And then again on January 27th.
Okay. Oh, twice in January.
2 in January.
A few months ago, when you came on board, and then several months prior to that, I had been querying the cost to operate each building. And I just want to bring that back up again as something that I'm still interested to seeing. Thank you. That's the rest. That's my bullets here.
Okay. Any other comments from board members or anything? All right, now we'll go to community input regarding
Can
non.
I just
Oh,
say
yeah, go ahead.
something? I want to speak to Juan just for 1 second. I really think that
Here?
your complaint could have done it in private and not in front of.
I
everyone.
don't believe that that's covered by executive session.
You
we're
could have
talking ab-
just talked to Lisa one-on-one about it. You didn't
About being
have to-
cut out of meetings.
Cancellation of meeting. Okay.
I mean,
It just seems that there's an
Can we
intent
just,
to try to
I-
make.
fellow
certain
fellow
I,
people
board
I didn't
members-
come here with that intention.
Fellow board
The
members, can we move
conversation
forward?
kind of took that form.
Can we just move forward, please? Thank you. Community input on non-agenda items at this time.
Did have that conversation.
Hi, good evening, Dino Cronin, Amityville. I just wanted to speak on a very old subject matter. I'm going to revisit the stolen tractor. On August 4th, I want to first of all thank you, Mr. Snyder, for your very thorough. I foiled a bunch of documents. And Ms. Johnson, I am going to speak to the entire board. I had foiled a couple of questions. I know trustee Messman had attempted to put what was it, a referendum together that was denied by the board. And in one of those questions that was asked were the chain of custody. I think it's important for the board to know because in the documents, the very thorough documents that were provided to me from Mr. Schneider was that according to public office law, the district is only required to provide records that currently exist. And there is no obligation to create a record to respond to a FOIL request. Please be advised that certain information requested, the chain of custody for the district equipment does not currently exist, and there is no district records as to which are responsive to the portions of your request. In other words, and I had my attorney go over the documents as well, when the tractor, the $34,000 asset was dropped off to the vendor, there was no record as to who dropped it off and who received it. I think it's important for the Board of Education to know that the fact that that was done is a lack of oversight. There have been numerous documentation throughout the course of different audits that indicate that this is a process that needs to improve. I'm hoping, Ms. Johnson, that you take this if you want. I'm sure Mr. Schneider can provide you with the documentation. Quite a bit of it was redacted. I understand attorney-client privilege, but the fact that no one decided to sign off for the document, that the fact that the document was received, a $34,000 document to a vendor, is something that needs improvement. I know the board had celebrated the fact that we're getting a new tractor, and I'm glad we're getting a new tractor, but that's putting a Band-Aid on a surgical wound. The fact that there is no way to know who dropped it and who received it is unacceptable. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
Thank you. Any other community input on non-agenda items? Anne Marie, if you can just reset the time.
Good evening, Caroline Fanning. My question pertains to the policies for budget hearing, budget transfers, agenda prep, and minutes. Could you just summarize what's new or different about these policies from the previous or current?
So what we can do, we can send that to you in what has been changed, because we've already addressed it, so we'll send it to you what has changed in those areas.
you couldn't just like say a sentence to each?
No,
If
because
that,
it's a lot.
okay,
so-
that's fine. But then in that case, I did want to go to the budget hearing. Because it says here, the proposed budget will be completed at least 7 days before the budget hearing. Does that mean that the completed proposed budget is going to be available to the board before the hearing?
I'm not too.
Are you referencing the policy?
Yes.
Does the policy state that it will be
I-
available to the board 7 days prior to the hearing?
It doesn't. It says the proposed budget will be completed at least 7 days before the hearing. So my question is, if it's been completed, does the board get to review it so that they have the benefit of reading and formulating questions before a public hearing? Because when I was on the board, we didn't see the approved budget until the balanced budget until the day of budget adoption. It's encouraging. It seems like this policy is meant to be more proactive and get more done ahead of time, but I'm curious about gaps in the language.
I'm sure, Mr. Snyder, would you respond?
If I'm understanding your question, and budget adoption is typically the third week of April. And that, what you're referring to there, 7 days before the hearing would really land you around May 1st. So the board has the full adopted budget during budget adoption, which is typically the third week of April. If I'm understanding your point.
I'm just reading the language of the policy, but if I'm going to go back and draw from my own experience on the absolute deadline that the budget had to be adopted, that was the first time the board saw a balanced budget. So there's two concerns I have here. One, on this policy, it says the proposed budget needs to have a hearing. Is it a balanced budget?
The
I-
adopt,
Well, a hearing is a hearing. You're going to propose like
the
what you want.
the
Is-
adopted budget has to be balanced, but the board gets the superintendent's budget typically right around the February recess.
Okay, so for this hearing, which has to happen before the budget is adopted, correct?
The hearing happens after the budget's adopted.
Oh, okay, so it happens all right,
Yeah.
after the adopt.
Yeah, this is just legal language.
Okay,
Yeah. This is tracking the requirements of the law.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other community input on non-agenda items? Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:09, please?
Motion.
Bonnie is first.
Second.
Chris Neer in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. Yeah.
Yeah.